Welcome to The Debate. Our focus today is on the razor edge of digital asset protection. We're going to be looking specifically at the flagship offering from Trezor, the Safe 7 hardware wallet. And this whole discussion is anchored by a really detailed technical review on Bytwork.com.
Right, and that review, which was penned by Maxim Anisimov, it really zeroes in on this pivotal moment in hardware security. The cost versus the necessity of going above and beyond what we've come to accept as standard. The Safe 7 comes in at a premium, $249, which forces us to ask a pretty fundamental question.
Absolutely. And that central question is this: does the Trezor Safe 7's combination of cutting-edge, high-security architecture, I'm talking about its new dual-chip system and its much-touted quantum readiness, does that actually warrant the premium price? I mean, are we looking at essential future-proof security, or is it just expensive, maybe unproven, and ultimately redundant features compared to robust, cheaper alternatives?
And see, that's where I come down on this. While I think Trezor's commitment to security is, admirable, I'm going to maintain that for the vast majority of users, the marginal security benefit you get from these really advanced features does not justify doubling the cost. The $249 price tag is just a prohibitive barrier for benefits that are, frankly, still largely theoretical today.
And I'll be arguing that this is precisely the definition of a flagship product. It's one that sacrifices a bit of accessibility for maximum assurance. This isn't just an incremental improvement. It's an investment in layered redundancy and true architectural future-proofing. The dual-chip structure and the commitment to post-quantum threats, that absolutely justifies a price for anyone holding serious assets.
Okay, well, let's look closer at the foundation of that premium then, the dual-chip architecture. The device has the proven Infineon chip alongside this brand new Tropic 01 chip. So explain to me why two chips are necessary when standard secure elements have been, reliable for years now.
It's necessary because of what the Tropic's 01 is. The review notes that it's cited as the world's first fully open and auditable chip to achieve CCAL 6+ certification. And that acronym, CCAL 6+, it's crucial. It represents the highest possible assurance level for common criteria evaluation. So the decision wasn't just to add a second chip, it was to layer a highly established certified chip with a brand new, fully transparent, and independently verified one.
I see the logic, but let me offer a different perspective. That transparency is great, it's laudable, but security fundamentally relies on being battle-tested. And the article itself raises this concern, saying that Tropic 01, and I'm quoting here, hasn't undergone years of testing like older Trezor or Ledger counterparts. In security, age often equals strength. You're asking users to pay a premium for a redundancy that includes an element that, frankly, hasn't faced years of scrutiny from the global attack community.
I would frame that differently. The immediate rigor is shown not just by the certification, but by the philosophy of full control. This system closes a massive potential gap. If a flaw is discovered in one secure element, let's say a supply chain issue or a manufacturing compromise, the other, structurally different element still holds the keys. The chance of an attacker developing a simultaneous fault injection attack that compromises both chips, these are chips with different architectures. It's just statistically negligible.
But we're talking about physical attacks, fault injection, laser attacks, that the technical literature repeatedly confirms are usually only possible in laboratory conditions. They require incredibly sophisticated equipment and physical access for a long time. The biggest, most damaging threats remain operational: phishing, seed phrase compromise, user error. Aren't we sort of over-engineering for the 1 in a million attack while a $129 wallet handles 99% of the real-world risk just as well?
But that highly sophisticated scenario is exactly what defines a flagship product for institutional or high-net-worth individuals. They need assurance that their holdings can withstand state-level, highly funded attackers. And beyond that, the redundancy extends to longevity. The anodized aluminum body, IP54 protection, even the battery choice, a LiFePO4 battery that withstands 4 times more charging cycles. It all shows a commitment to physical robustness. You're buying hardware that's meant to last a decade.
Okay,
Physical durability is important. We can agree on that. But it doesn't justify a $100 plus security premium. Let's move to the core of the debate and address why this specific redundancy, the dual-chip approach, might not be the best solution for every user, even at the high end.
Well, the dual-chip strategy was born from necessity, not just innovation for its own sake. It was created in direct response to a proven vulnerability, a type of side-channel attack in one of the popular single secure elements that a lot of competitors still use. This wasn't hedging against some theoretical threat. It was closing a known exploitable attack vector. It was a calculated necessity.
I accept the context that a vulnerability existed and needed a fix, but two expensive secure elements are not the only, or even necessarily the best, way to achieve maximum isolation. I would argue that alternative architectures achieve similar, maybe even superior security without all the complexity and cost. I mean, look at the Elapal Titan 2.0.
The air-gapped solution.
Precisely. It costs $169, so a big drop from the Safe 7, and it offers complete connection isolation. No USB, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. It relies only on QR codes for signing. From a pure security calculus, the Titan just eliminates the connectivity attack surface entirely. It simplifies the security perimeter, which means fewer components to audit and fewer vectors for a remote attack. Why pay a premium for Trezor's complex system to defend a connectivity port when the Titan just removes the port?
That's a powerful point about the Titan, I'll give you that. But here's where I see the trade-off falling apart. Operational friction. The need to use a camera and scan QR codes for every single transaction. It introduces significant friction and dramatically slows things down for high-frequency users. Trezor's decision is to provide high security without sacrificing modern usability. They use their proprietary Trezor host protocol, which secures all wireless connectivity. It ensures end-to-end control, even if the underlying Bluetooth stack had some unknown flaw. They defend the connection so users don't have to revert to clunky air-gapped methods.
But the elegance of the air-gapped solution is its clarity. You know exactly what attack vectors are off the table. With the Safe 7, you're paying $80 more for the promise that their new protocol has no flaws and that the two chips work perfectly to protect a surface that, in my view, shouldn't even exist in a maximal security scenario. If the goal is absolute lab-grade assurance, the complexity of managing two secure elements and a new wireless stack just complicates the security model more than a simple, isolated air gap.
Complexity is only a weakness if it's unaudited. Trezor is betting the farm on the auditability of Tropic 01. Its open-source nature allows the community to scrutinize that complexity, which is often impossible with proprietary solutions. That dedication to verifiable security plus usability is what the price is for. Now, let's shift to the second major feature driving this cost: quantum readiness. I see this as a necessary proactive measure.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy that the price is justified by quantum readiness. I think this feature is, at best, premature.
Look, the forward-looking nature of the Safe 7 architecture gives it the ability to adapt to post-quantum security via firmware updates. People buy these wallets with a multi-year horizon. This feature protects that investment, and it's a responsible step toward preparing for a future where Shore's algorithm could, theoretically, break current cryptography.
The problem is that the quantum-ready feature is heavily reliant on huge external infrastructure changes. The material clearly states that full protection is impossible if the underlying blockchain protocols, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you name it, fail to adapt their own standards to be quantum resistant. The most advanced wallet in the world is useless if the networks themselves are vulnerable.
That's true. The network adaptation is paramount. I agree. However, the wallet's architecture is a critical prerequisite. Older secure elements, many of which are in use right now, they simply lack the processing power or flexibility to efficiently implement the new, highly complex post-quantum schemes. If the hardware can't handle these new schemes, the device becomes a paperweight the moment the quantum threat materializes. The Safe 7 provides that necessary hardware foundation.
So you're paying for insurance against a future that may never arrive within the lifespan of the device, on a policy that only covers half the risk. The timeline for a practical quantum computer that can break ECC is still highly debated, some say 15 years out. Is it economically sound to pay a $100 premium today for a potential firmware update a decade from now?
It is proactive security engineering. The price reflects the cost of integrating a processor that can handle the heavy computational load of post-quantum algorithms. We aren't paying for the security today, but for the guarantee of its upgradability. That's essential for protecting generational wealth held in crypto.
I agree capacity is important, but I think this quantum readiness claim is more of a rhetorical tool to justify the premium, not a functionally required feature today.
Okay, let's move past the hypothetical threat and look at immediate tangible benefits. Point 3 is about the feature set, where the Safe 7 offers clear functional improvements that enhance the security ritual itself, which is where users often fail.
I'm interested to hear how a bigger screen justifies the extra cost.
The 6.3-centimeter Gorilla Glass touchscreen is 62% larger than the Safe 5s, and critically, it's the brightest screen on any hardware wallet at 700 nits. Why does this matter for security? Because verifying long hexadecimal addresses and transaction details are the steps where human error happens. A larger, brighter screen, easily readable in any condition, it reduces the chance of misreading a malicious address. It's security engineered into the usability.
That's a compelling point about operational security. But have you looked at what else is available at this price? Other flagship competitors match or exceed these convenience features. Take the OneKey Pro, priced comparably at $249. It offers a huge touchscreen like a smartphone, plus fingerprint unlock and wireless charging.
But the trade-off there is typically in the core security transparency. Fingerprint unlock is convenient, sure, but it adds another layer of complexity. Biometric sensors introduce new attack vectors and usually only secure device access, not the private keys themselves. Trezor is focusing its premium on core, verifiable, open-source auditable security first. The screen is a critical improvement, yes, but it serves the integrity of the signing process that's facilitated by the dual chip system.
And the market shows you can have convenience and security at a lower cost, or at least with a different focus. The Ledger Flex, Trezor's main competitor, also has a larger Gorilla Glass screen for a similar cost, using a single, highly tested secure element approach that many pros still trust because of its extensive battle testing.
The burden is on Trezor to prove that their expensive architectural shift provides a substantial enough security dividend to justify the cost.
And the dividend lies in proactive mitigation. The single SE model, however proven, carries inherent risks related to manufacturing and IP control. Trezor's decision to develop the Tropic 01 means they control the entire security supply chain for one of their secure elements. That self-reliance, that investment in vertical security integration and redundancy, that's the premium. It's an ideological stance against relying on a singular element whose potential vulnerabilities might not be disclosed for years. And that is precisely where the disagreement lies. Are we paying $249 for architectural purity and ideological control when the greatest threats remain operational phishing and seed phrase mismanagement, not the sophisticated lab attacks against a single chip that Trezor is primarily mitigating?
It forces the user to weigh the cost of redundancy against the probability of these highly sophisticated threats.
Indeed. So let me summarize my position. While the Trezor Safe 7 is without a doubt a reliable and cutting-edge device, the $249 price is just difficult to justify universally. The debate centers on whether expensive features like the Tropic 01 and quantum readiness provide a meaningful current security advantage over established protections, especially when physical compromise is so rare and equally strong alternatives like the air-gapped Titan 2.0 exist at lower prices with different, robust security models. The marginal utility just struggles to overcome that high cost.
And to reiterate my position, the Trezor Safe 7, as detailed in Maxim Anisimov's analysis on Bytwork.com, is necessary for those with high-value portfolios. It is an investment in advanced, layered security. The dual-chip structure, leveraging both established and fully open-source hardware, offers unmatched protection by proactively eliminating known weaknesses. And the quantum-ready architecture is a responsible, essential step toward protecting long-term assets, justifying the premium price.
There is certainly much more to explore within this material, especially on the evolution of secure element design.
We highly recommend reviewing the original material by Maxim Anisimov on Bytwork.com to really dig into the technical details for yourself.
And we want to hear from you. Please consider what you think about this trade-off between a premium cost and cutting-edge layered security.
Subscribe to the channel, put a like on this discussion, and write in the comments what you think. Has Trezor found the right balance between cost and future-proof design?
Because the decision ultimately rests with the user, weighing the cost against the perceived value of technological redundancy and readiness for threats that are for now hypothetical.